Tonight, Canadians prevented from visiting loved ones in seniors' homes. How some are fighting back.
All right, arrest me. Like, do it. Are you going to do it? Do it, so I can bring it before a court.
She was charged. We'll show you what happened next.
Definitely lost a lot of aquatic life.
A nasty leak raises a big question. How did billions of liters of sewage escape notice?
Only the lonely.
Why this is happening more and more. Beloved singers who passed away appearing on stage. And we're taking a second look at mental health on campus. Why are students in such need, and where are universities falling short? This is The National. So here's a pretty surprising question for Canadians to consider. Would you risk arrest to visit a parent in care? But that is a decision some families say they're being forced to make when seniors' homes use trespass laws to keep visitors out. And it's a conflict that could grow as the population ages. David Common has that story.
Mary Sardellis is off to visit her mom, a visit that could lead to her arrest.
I'm excited and I'm scared.
She's been banned from entering this retirement home. For nearly a year, the closest she's come is waving from outside.
316 days will never be made up again. She's got dementia.
Mary is not the only one, with homes nationwide increasingly applying verbal or written no trespass orders on families of those in care.
We don't think that there's any time they should be using those.
This lawyer and elder advocate says homes appear to use the orders after families complain about the care that their loved ones are receiving.
They've been telling the homes not to do certain things or to treat their parent in a certain way.
They're advocating for mom or dad,
Advocating for
right?
mom or dad. Things are going not well. And the home says, that's it, we're just not going to let you come in.
Same thing happened to this woman.
He banned me. He sent a formal email saying I'm not allowed on the property anymore.
While at another home, this daughter had her time restricted to 2 hours a day, usually when her mother slept.
I was a thorn in the side of the managers of the place, and they threatened on several occasions to not allow me to see my mother or to kick her out.
The owner of Mary's mom's home in Ottawa claims Mary and Tanny were abusive to staff and so were told to stay away. Both say they were only advocating for their parents. The home also says it has a right to ban what it calls aggressive visitors. Mary tested that ban by going into her mom's home. They called police.
Otherwise, it just will keep going on and on and on. So it's a matter of no one had challenged it by saying, all right, arrest me. Like, do it. Are you going to do it? Do it, so I can bring it before a court.
She was charged, though prosecutors later dropped those charges. Mary then returned to the home, and its owner now says she can do so as long as she follows their rules.
Hi.
Though she is still worried the home could try to ban her again.
Okay, so David, how often is this happening to families?
Well, it's hard to get a handle on that, Andrew. We know that we reviewed more than a dozen cases from across Canada. We also know that the lawyer who you just saw in our story, the elder advocate, gets calls, she says, every single week from family members about this in particular. But for there to be an accurate number, someone would essentially have to breach the trespass order. They would have to go in and get charged for that to be registered. And we don't have a read on that because that would be a thing you obviously wouldn't really want to do.
Right.
If people do have that kind of a scenario, do let us know. Marketplace@cbc.ca. We want to hear their stories.
David Common, thanks very much. Hamilton, Ontario has an environmental and a public relations mess on its hands. Over a period of 4 years, starting in 2014, billions of liters of raw sewage polluted a local marsh. And to some folks, the spill isn't the only thing that stinks. As Ellen Morrow tells us, they want to know why it's taken so long for a full explanation.
Coots Paradise, an ecological gem, both beautiful and damaged.
The smell was pongy.
John Boddy noticed that smell back in July 2018 and reported it to the province.
Once I was certain that it was sewage coming down here, it was very simple for me to take action.
Overall, 24 billion liters of sewage waste and storm runoff leaked into this creek and flowed into a nearby marsh. The leak went on for more than 4 years, undetected.
This is what the putrid water looked like. The public was warned to stay away when the problem was discovered in the summer of 2018. But residents were only told just how bad the spill was this week after inquiries from the Hamilton Spectator, a local newspaper. The Spectator obtained confidential city reports showing officials have known about the leak's scope for nearly a year. They didn't make the information public, they say, following legal advice.
Did the city prioritize its own protection from a lawsuit over informing people about the water?
Yeah, sharing information about anything that's under investigation will jeopardize any agency's ability to defend itself.
Sure would have been nice to know what we were working with.
Even the man who oversees the area just found out alongside the public about the leak's magnitude. He calls it a disaster.
We've definitely lost a lot of aquatic life, and probably lost almost everything that lived in the bottom because there was no oxygen.
And all because a gate on an overflow tank was left partially open back in 2014, and somehow no one noticed for years.
We're going to have to figure out some additional fail-safes so that if any of our other facilities have something like this happen, that we can become aware of it right away.
That's little consolation to John Body, angry the city took so long to fully inform the public.
Once trust is broken, it takes a long time to build it back up.
Ellen Morrow, CBC News, Hamilton, Ontario.
A development tonight on a story the Fifth Estate first reported earlier this week. It's about the Vancouver Archdiocese being the first in Canada to offer a very unique kind of public accountability on a devastating history, naming names of its clergy who sexually abused children. Now, in its own report, it makes dozens of recommendations, including creating an intake office to receive complaints, a review board to hear them, and crucially, to name other clergy members under certain conditions. Chris O'Neill Yates has the story of a woman who knows the report and the abuse.
Moments of relaxation like this give Leona Huggins solace in her decades-long journey for justice. As a girl, Huggins was sexually abused by a priest, silent until she was 29. She's one of 4 abuse survivors who sat on this sexual abuse case review committee.
That's groundbreaking. It's definitely opened up a door.
But not wide enough. Huggins says the committee saw no actual files on priests, only verbal summaries provided by the church's lawyers. Information on 9 convicted clergy or cases where lawsuits have been settled are in this report. Huggins expected more.
I'm still questioning the reasons why there's some people that I felt I would see today when I opened up the computer. They're not there.
The committee recommended that all the names of those credibly accused be published. Those are cases where there is a belief that sexual abuse did take place. Rob Talek has represented hundreds of victims of abuse by clergy. He too would like to see more disclosure of names.
This is a criminal act. We wouldn't form a committee in a workplace for employees that commit murder. So why do we do it for sexual assault? You go to the police. You go to the police.
It's really a huge step in the right direction. We really want to be seen here as leading the charge in Canada.
The Archdiocese of Vancouver says it has gone as far as it can for now.
We have published a list. We've published all that we're legally allowed to.
But where does the moral and ethical responsibility come to name names when we're talking about the most vulnerable, our children?
Huggins says survivors will keep pushing.
And to continue to pressure all Canadian dioceses to release the names of all of those that they know.
Today's report is just the beginning for Huggins. She'll be watching until every last recommendation is followed. Chris O'Neill Yates, CBC News, Coquitlam, British Columbia.
Okay, now as you heard, the Fifth Estate's Gillian Finley broke this story. So Gillian, disclosure of just 9 names, how significant is that?
Andrew, it kind of depends what Canada's other 59 dioceses decide to do. One of the recommendations of the committee today was to establish an electronic registry nationwide, not only so that they could track known abusers, but so they could start to get a picture of how big is this problem in Canada. In our reporting, we sent a survey to all 60 dioceses, and we asked them 2 questions. Have you done a review of your own archives to know how big the problem is in your area? And if so, are you prepared to release the names of priests you know have been abusers? Of the 60, only 14 bothered to respond. 5 said that they had done a review or were planning one, but nobody was prepared to commit to making the names of credibly accused priests in their jurisdictions public. So I think we're still very much in early days here.
Okay, Jillian, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Well, Ontario Premier Doug Ford is calling for national unity after a meeting with the man who attacked him throughout the federal election, Justin Trudeau. As Hannah Thibodeau shows us, the political message has dramatically changed.
Opportunity for us to sit down and talk together about a lot of shared priorities.
We're going to focus on the areas that we agree on, not the ones that we may have differences on.
The Prime Minister and Ontario's Premier looking for common ground. Their relationship was quite frosty not so long ago.
Doug Ford, and Andrew Scheer take us backwards.
During the recent election campaign, Trudeau used Ford's spending cuts to try to scare voters away from the federal Conservatives. But no hard feelings, says the Premier.
You know something? The Prime Minister's family's been in politics for years. Our family's been in politics for years. It's politics. Now we have to do things that people want.
That includes trade, transit, and improving health care. One thing they didn't discuss? The carbon tax. Just a year ago, Conservative leaders came together to fight Trudeau. Ford says his focus isn't the resistance.
It's absolutely critical we unite the country and we stick together.
Now he's positioning himself as the uniter.
We have to send a message around the world that, yes, we're a big family and we may have a few bumps in the road, we may disagree, but we have to give businesses out there certainty. Because if you don't give businesses certainty, they'll leave.
Ford says he'll bring that message to the other premiers when they meet on December 2nd. He says he wants to help bridge the divide between oil-producing provinces and Quebec to lower the temperature and maintain national unity. Hannah Thibodeau, CBC News, Ottawa.
Now, Alberta's premier was also talking up national unity today in the face of Western frustration with Ottawa.
We can never take national unity for granted. I hope that the appointment of Minister Freeland and Intergovernmental Affairs is a positive sign that the federal government will listen to Alberta's very serious concerns.
And to that point, Trudeau's new Minister of Natural Resources, Seamus O'Regan, met with Alberta's Energy Minister today. She emerged to tell reporters, quote, he listened, he heard, he understood. Energy concerns for some raise climate change concerns for others. So that will be a key file for the Liberals. But on top of being an important issue for so many Canadians, it'll be a difficult one. And as Salima Shivji explains, in a minority government, every policy move is political.
A new office and a contentious portfolio for Jonathan Wilkinson.
I'd be lying if I didn't say that there were significant challenges.
The obvious challenge, ease tensions in Alberta and Saskatchewan. The Liberals are banking on the BC MP's Saskatchewan roots and low-key style as he takes the climate change baton from Catherine McKenna.
We need to actually be willing to have conversations with each other that are more constructive. I have always been one of the folks in Ottawa who has said we need to look to reach across party lines more than we do.
Easier said than done, but in a minority, essential to get key climate policy passed. On the idea of doing more to tackle carbon emissions, there's some consensus, but on policy to get there, not so much.
What we're going to do is plant 2 billion trees over the next decade.
No arguments expected on that Liberal campaign promise.
Cut corporate tax in half for zero emissions clean tech companies.
That one, too, the Liberals feel they can deliver on. But then it gets tricky.
They've talked about the climate crisis, but not really ended fossil fuel subsidies.
The NDP wants to eliminate all of those subsidies, even though many are provincial. The Liberals have long said they would cut inefficient subsidies, but have yet to identify which ones. And then there's the fight over numbers. Canada has promised to cut its emissions by 30% below 2005 levels by 2030.
We do need to look at Canada's current target.
The current targets are not good enough, so we're pushing for more aggressive, bolder targets.
Wilkinson is arming himself for the tough road ahead.
Certainly my political staff would accuse me of being a policy wonk, much more than a partisan politician.
Only he's now steering one of the most politically charged files around. Salima Shivji, CBC News, Ottawa.
Another politically charged file, Canada's relationship with China. And there's an award being presented tomorrow at a security conference in Halifax that might further ramp up tension with Beijing. The people of Hong Kong are being honored for their months of pro-democracy protests in the face of increasingly forceful pushback from Chinese authorities.
We are very happy to see support from the international community, but I repeat, I hope the situation can de-escalate, and let's find a civilized solution to end this thing.
Now, Hong Kong's 4 million registered voters will be heading to the polls this weekend. Greg Rasmussen has more on the local election that's drawing international attention.
Hong Kong politician Andrew Chu is back, drumming up votes hours after being released from hospital. He had his ear bitten off in this attack, which he feels may have been linked to his pro-democracy politics. Despite being in severe pain and woozy from multiple medications, Chu says he can't stop now.
The coming Sunday to vote is very important because to empower all the Hong Kong people to express our anger towards our government.
These local district councillors have little real power over the big issues facing Hong Kong. But if the pro-democracy camp wins, it will send a message to Beijing.
In this moment, the tension is large because the government is not stand with Hong Kong citizens.
Earlier this week, the city was caught up in large, violent clashes. In recent days, the mass protests have faded, replaced by smaller ones like this in the run-up to Sunday's election. There was talk of canceling this weekend's vote over fears it could spark more protests. But at this point, it appears voting will go ahead, although with riot police at every polling station.
In fact, with a police presence, citizens will feel safe to go and vote.
So as Election Day approaches, it's a city on edge, with candidates determined to get out the vote. Greg Rasmussen, CBC News, Hong Kong.
And we will be back with more news in just 2 minutes, including public opinion after the impeachment hearings. We asked voters in a swing district to weigh in. But first, 2 teams with no championship wins in more than 20 years. We set up the stakes ahead of the Grey Cup. Well, it is the biggest weekend of the year for Canadian football. And even then, there's more on the line than you might think for 2 long-suffering CFL teams. It'll be the Hamilton Ticats from the east and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers from the west battling for the Grey Cup on Sunday afternoon right here at Calgary's McMahon Stadium. And as Cam McIntosh tells us, a victory either way would be a long time coming.
We're from Winnipeg and we know it.
Yes, every team has its superfans, but John Couture is beyond.
We're from Winnipeg and we know
He and his Blue Bomber megaphone have been to 46 Grey Cups. This one is special.
Absolutely ecstatic that the Bombers are in this year.
You see, John was there celebrating when the Bombers last won it all, in 1990.
Security.
And still going well into the morning.
Here we go, Bombers, here we go. There's only so many Grey Cups left in this body. They have to win this year. They have to win.
In the dying seconds,
it's been bleak in Winnipeg since then. 5 trips to the final, 5 losses. At 29 years, it's the CFL's longest current championship drought. Hamilton is second.
Congratulations on winning the Grey Cup.
1999 was the Ticats' last win.
Oski wee wee! Oski wawa!
The Box J boys have been ardent supporters through it all, as the city itself has suffered its own ups and downs.
I think it's really important that we win it for the city of Hamilton this year.
Go Cats, go!
For the record, Hamilton is favored. Players will say they don't get wrapped up in the history of it all.
Go Cats, go!
But when droughts go this long, for some fans, there's a danger in getting your hopes up. In 2001, Chris Matthew was so sure of a Winnipeg win, he vowed to wear shorts until the Bombers won the Cup. It's been 18 years now without pants.
If they win, that's fabulous. And I hope they do for
not for the shorts or anything else. I hope we win simply because I think it's time that we did win.
2 teams, no championships this century. One drought will end, another will drag on, taking the hearts of fans along with it. Cameron McIntosh, CBC News, Winnipeg.
And among the other stories we are following tonight, the New Brunswick government has invoked the rarely used notwithstanding clause as it works to protect its new mandatory vaccination law. The move would prevent anyone from challenging the new law in court, but there are those who say legislation that suspends charter rights is a bad idea.
I feel like we're setting a dangerous precedent here in New Brunswick using it. I would ask the government to come back with a legislation that is charter compliant.
The new law would prevent parents from exempting their public school kids from vaccinations unless it's for medical reasons. The federal government is choosing not to end the ongoing CN strike.
We are encouraging both sides to keep talking. We believe this is the best way to do it and the quickest way to do it.
The walkout by some 3,200 railway workers is now in its 4th day. Canadian businesses say they are already feeling the impact, while farmers in Ontario and Quebec say a propane shortage resulting from the strike could completely derail their harvest. An Ontario judge has thrown out a $210 million defamation lawsuit launched by Subway against the CBC. In 2017, a CBC Marketplace investigation reported that the sandwich chain may have been selling some poultry products that were only 50% chicken DNA. Subway disputed the findings and claimed the story caused significant sales losses. Today, a judge ruled the story was an example of investigative journalism and in the public interest. And China's new ambassador to Canada spoke to the media today and reiterated China's positions on several bilateral concerns, including the unrest in Hong Kong.
People here are really interested in stability and peace and the prosperity in Hong Kong. They should make their voice loud to those radical, violent criminals. Stop violence immediately.
The new ambassador added that it's still up to Canada to mend fences if it wants better relations with China. Okay, coming up, mental health on university campuses. Our Friday panel takes a second look at the services available for students and their shortcomings, too. Plus, after 2 weeks of public impeachment hearings, are Americans convinced? We check in with independents.
Committee will come to order.
The atmosphere in Washington has been electric.
Could not be explained. It was crazy. Order.
The testimony.
It didn't sound good.
Who could turn away?
It sounded like a threat.
I was concerned by the call. What I heard was inappropriate.
Was there a quid pro quo?
A domestic political errand.
The answer is yes.
But after all the hearings in the Donald Trump impeachment inquiry,
this is scary what these guys are putting our country through.
A key question remains. Did it change anything? Stephen D'Souza went to a New Jersey swing district to find out if open minds in the U.S. have been swayed.
Folks outside a suburban New Jersey grocery store aren't too busy to weigh in on impeachment.
I think he should be impeached. If not just for these trials, for everything else he's messed up.
Was inappropriate and improper.
Most had made up their mind long before the 5 days of televised public hearings.
I think it's a real joke, and the Democrats should stop with all this nonsense.
I think they decided to remove it right the day that he was inaugurated, didn't they?
Does it matter what you hear in the impeachment hearings?
No, because he is a criminal.
You know, being an independent, is that sort of the lonely road to walk sometimes?
Well, yeah.
Caught in the middle of the partisan rhetoric are independents like Sue Davies. In New Jersey, 40% of voters are unaffiliated, more than either Democrats or Republicans.
I think most people either they're in one camp or the other, and then the third camp is plague on both their houses.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony...
While she says Democrats have made their case against the president, she says both sides are just playing political theater to influence the 2020 election.
Nobody has their eye on the American people and what the American people want.
In this part of New Jersey, voters chose Trump narrowly in 2016. then went with a Democratic congressional candidate in the 2018 midterms.
I'm trying to go in with an open mind. I'm trying to watch the proceedings, the evidence.
66-year-old Steve Barrett is a former Republican turned independent. He's followed the hearings daily, but hasn't made up his mind.
As I say, I'm not going to be convinced until all the evidence is in. And if I have the opportunity to look at the evidence and form an opinion, I'll form an opinion.
Richard DeLuca left the Republican Party during the Nixon years. He wonders if any amount of evidence will be good enough.
Something more has to happen, otherwise he'll wind up being, he'll be acquitted by the Republicans, and then what have we got? More stalemate, nothing being done.
With the Democratic-controlled House likely to impeach and the Republican-controlled Senate appearing unlikely to convict, Barrett worries what message that sends.
My fear is that if the evidence adds up and he's acquitted anyway, then we've established a dangerous precedent for future presidents to flaunt the law.
For Davies, it all adds up to a broken system.
The American people want them to focus on what's the best interest of the American people, not what's in the best interest of getting your own party elected.
She says unless politicians focus on real issues and not partisan battles, a large block of voters in places like this will have little reason to show up at the ballot box next year for either party. Stephen D'Souza, CBC News, Morristown, New Jersey.
And when we come back, the risks and rewards when concerts resurrect the past. Lots of mixed feelings about how they're using holograms these days. And we host a conversation about mental health on campus. Our Friday panel is here for our second look. Welcome back. On our program recently, you met a student from the University of Toronto who contemplated ending her life. A cry for help to mental health services on campus eventually turned into a conversation with campus police about her suicidal thoughts. Then, this.
The minute I told them that it was a real location, it was a bridge, but that I would be going to my friend's house, they stopped everything and they told me that I would be put under arrest.
I was bewildered. I couldn't believe that this was happening to my friend who at this point had been so cooperative and she'd been so open.
Then, just a few days ago, we heard from the vice provost at U of T about how long students wait for professional help.
So understandably, there's going to be a range of cases and a range of wait lists. How long is the wait to get counseling services, for example?
When a student needs care, what we're doing is we're looking at what is the urgency and what do they need, and in terms of how can we support them.
So again, what's the range of waiting?
The range of waiting really varies by individual students and individual cases. We would prefer that there's absolutely no wait lists, and we're doing our best to see students as quickly as possible.
Hard to get a clear answer. It all points to a problem that is in desperate need of better solutions. So on tonight's Second Look panel, how it all works, what services are available on campus, how to get them, where the shortcomings are, and how to shore those up. And as we do every Friday, we have help. On my left, we have Lucinda Q, who goes to U of T. You're an undergrad and one of the founding members of the Mental Health Policy Council there. We have Eric Windler on my right, the founder of Jack.org. That's a national nonprofit focused on young people and mental health. And we have Dr. Juveria Zahir, a psychiatrist with the Center for Addiction and Mental Health based in Toronto and operating in communities right across Ontario. So folks, to the three of you, thanks so much for being here. Dr. Zahir, I'm hoping we can start with you. Just on that question of wait times, can you explain for us, why is that such a hard number to pin down?
I think it's a complicated question. It seems like it should have a very simple answer.
Sure.
If I'm a student and I go to student health, how long is it going to take for me to see someone to help me?
Right.
The answer is a little bit more complicated because services are challenging. When there's a lot of different people who have different types of mental health issues, people do something called triage. So you're trying to understand who is potentially at risk for suicide, who is having symptoms of psychosis, who is having struggles with academic performance, who is having struggles with anxiety or depression. All of this to say, though, we can say things like 4 weeks or 6 weeks. It may not seem like that long in the general mental health care system, but for young people who are struggling, 4 weeks or 6 weeks can mean the difference between passing and failing, from keeping their student visa or not keeping their student visa. And so I think that's why they need to know what's happening.
And Lucinda, I mean, is that what you hear from the student body in terms of the wait time? I mean, 4 to 6 weeks is kind of the norm?
It may be the case at other institutions. It has definitely been the case for some students, but I think one of the most frustrating issues at the University of Toronto is that students have been advocating for the creation of a proper triage system, of a proper intake or single entry point for a very long time. And obviously we're working against some particularly acute or unique barriers when we talk about 3 campuses and 90,000 students, a city within a city.
Yeah.
So instead then what you see is wait times of a couple months, 6 to 8 months.
But I guess, I mean, there is a cost to waiting, right? And I think of someone, a student in distress, right, who has some grave problem that they're trying to work through. When they're told that, listen, it'll be 4, 5, 6 weeks until we can connect you with a counselor on a regular basis, what's the impact of that? I mean, just on a human level, what does that do to them?
We ended up associating this symbol, this pound or number sign with some of our work after the last suicide, because this story is about human beings being treated like numbers, and a mental health crisis that is an accountability crisis. If someone says they need help, they need a single advocate in their corner, it is devastating. It really is the difference between life and death right now for so many students to be told, actually, you can't get the help you need.
Eric, I mean, in terms of the way you approach this issue, I know, I mean, you have a very heavy professional investment in all of this, but also an intensely personal one.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, we lost Jack by suicide in March of 2010. And we didn't even know Jack was struggling. Okay, a lot has changed since then, but I can assure you there's no family out there that wants to go through what we've gone through. So after we sort of picked ourselves up, we decided we would try to do something about it. And my wife, Sandra, and our closest friends piloted our what's called our youth leadership, youth engagement model in mental health with Queen's University. And fast forward now, we're on 250 campuses across the country. 67 of them are post-secondaries. But if I look back to those days where Queens was being kind of raked over the coals, they had had a rash of suicides in 2010 and 11, and they really stepped up. Okay, they're one of the schools that stepped up. They formed a principals commission on mental health. They involved students and faculty and family members and the mental health professionals. And the way I would just like to summarize it, we're having a bit of a crisis across the entire country.
Right.
Yes.
So, but then let's talk about the pan-Canadian picture, right? Because I know that your organization, you recently undertook a research project where you talked to students right across the country. And there was one particular finding that really stuck out, and I want to show it to you folks. So to the statement, I feel as though mental health services at my school are adequate and would meet my needs. More than 1,000 students weighed in, with almost half either disagreeing or strongly disagreeing with that statement. Eric, I mean, in trying to figure out how best to help people, I mean, what services are typically available?
First of all, it's all over the map. But I would like to, if I might, paint a picture that I think is very important for people to understand. And that is, in the last 10 years, there's been a huge amount of progress in awareness, education, increase in help seeking. And if you like, that's kind of been on a trajectory like this. It's really been growing incredibly fast. And most schools are getting on the bandwagon. They're doing something, and they're somewhere along the path of figuring this out, this very complex issue. But the trajectory of access is a much flatter one, okay? They're all better, trust me. What's going on at Queen's, at U of T, many places around the country is far better than it was 10 years ago. Yes. Infinitely better. But that gap is widening.
But what is the root of that problem? Is it a numbers thing, that there aren't enough counselors, aren't enough staff? Is it that there are many more students presenting with mental health?
There's many more young people reaching out for help. The world that we live in today with social media and all the the things that are going on in the world are adding to the stresses and burdens of young people. So there's more young people comfortable reaching out, and they are more highly stressed and anxious, and they're struggling more with their mental health.
So Dr. Zahir, is this an issue then that I mean, we can counsel our way through? I mean, because it's, I mean, you paint the portrait, Eric, of a tide, this crushing weight. And I don't know how you solve that with more counselors, more psychiatrists on the ground, because the problem is still there.
To Eric's point, we know that in the last 6 years in Ontario, there's been a 33% increase in emergency room visits for young people. And so when you talk about that rising tide, sometimes emergency services become the place where we see that signal, because people are having a lot of difficulty accessing mental health care through their family physician or through student mental health. I think the solution, it involves all of us. I think universities traditionally have been an institute for higher learning, and they are learning along with us to have the resources available for people. You know, young people are at an age where major mental illness emerges and worsens and deepens. So I think in order to solve this problem, we need coordinated care, coordinated access. We also need organizations like jack.org, where we do peer support. We need student advocacy. We need our hospital system and our mental health system also to be able to account for this increase in need.
Lucinda, I mean, I know this is a question that you've given a lot of thought to in terms of how you actually go about tackling the problem. Is there something to be said about tackling the sources of stress and anxiety for students?
This is a crisis that looks like you said, every single actor recognizing that they have a role to play in stopping someone from falling through every possible crack. And so, at the end of the day, I really think people have to be thinking, are students earning a living wage? Are students being given academic forgiveness policies? Are students being connected to one another and being allowed to build their own communities and supportive relations? Or are we just becoming, again, numbers in this huge system that makes us feel like there's no way out?
I do want to do one last go around, and I just want to ask you guys, I mean, you've all thought about this problem for so long and from so many different angles. Is there, if you could pick out one thing that, hey, I wish more people understood this, or more people, realized about the problem or the kinds of help that they can get, Eric, I mean, let me start with you. What would you say?
Yeah, so I would say every family needs to start thinking about this long before their young people get to post-secondary. Mm-hmm. They need to be having these conversations, in the very early teens at the latest about what mental health is all about, and really having a thoughtful conversation that doesn't put so much expectations on their kids and shares their own struggles, so they get more likely feedback from their kids that their children that they could be struggling.
Dr. Zahir?
What I think I would say is to families and to young people and to mental health care service providers is that there's a way out and there's hope, and that it's our job to listen and to support you and to let you know that there are other ways of being. And it's our job to treat those symptoms that make it so hard for you to live the life that you want to live.
Lucinda, I'll give you the last word, something that you wish more people understood or realized about this problem.
If anyone is in a position where they have influence, where they have stability, they have a role to play. And I hope that every person starts thinking more about what that role could be, what evidence-based models and expertise there are out there that can help them grow in that capacity. And if someone's struggling, I just hope a lot of young people take away this message of, you deserve help and care, and you deserve a future that you can look forward to.
We'll leave it there. Guys, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it. One more note on this. If you think someone you know may be at risk of suicide, or if you need to talk to someone yourself, Canada Suicide Prevention Service and Kids Help Phone are there to help you. You can call them, text with them, or chat with them online. We'll be right back. Child sex abuser and former Penn State assistant football coach Jerry Sandusky was hoping to get a lighter sentence today, but in the end, he will serve his original sentence of 30 to 60 years.
Mr. Sandusky, do you retain your innocence?
Absolutely.
Sandusky was back in court because that sentence was based on a mandatory minimum now declared illegal. In 2012, he was convicted of 45 counts of sexually assaulting teenage boys. Investigators in Southern California say the pistol used in a high school shooting last week was a so-called ghost gun.
They're sold as a kit, and then you can legally buy it, assemble the weapon yourself.
A 16-year-old shot and killed 2 classmates before turning the gun on himself. Police aren't sure where exactly he got that weapon, but they say ghost guns are sold online and at gun shows. Canadian and U.S. health officials are warning people not to eat any form of romaine lettuce grown in Salinas, California. An outbreak of E. coli has affected 40 people in 16 states. One person in Manitoba also got sick. Officials have not managed to narrow it all down to a single source, but they do believe it's the same strain of E. coli that made people sick in 2017 and 2018. Okay, we're going to take a 2-minute break. When we come back, why people are lining up for a blast from the past. The concert trend you may or may not be ready for. They are futuristic and nostalgic all at once. Hologram tours are digitally resurrecting late musicians and reuniting them with fans in theaters and concert halls across North America. But are audiences really ready? We asked Deanna Sumanak-Johnson to find out.
Ladies and gentlemen, Roy Orbison.
With a band and backup singers in place, the star arrives. Roy Orbison and Buddy Holly brought back to life as holograms.
Only the lonely.
It is not a concert per se, it is a show.
A love for real, not fade away.
Behind this hologram tour and many others is this LA company.
And we believe that this is a truly new form of entertainment for people in a way to experience artists as closely as possible without actually being there with the actual artist.
Nostalgia acts like Roy Orbison and Buddy Holly, who have been dead for decades, are a relatively safe bet when it comes to hologram tours, but there are riskier ones.
A proposed hologram tour of Amy Winehouse was put on hold when her fans on social media called it exploitative and disrespectful. Similar sentiment surfaced after leaked footage showed an early version of a Whitney Houston hologram 3 years ago. Her family pulled the plug on that early version.
Yeah, I think
this expert studies human reactions to computer-generated images.
We know that people react very differently to the faces of people they know well. If it's somebody that's passed away recently, then I'll know their face very, very well. And anything that's slightly off there will cause me to sort of push back a bit.
But people at Base Holograms say that risk is worth taking. They're staging a new version of the Whitney Houston hologram tour next year.
I think we're celebrating the artist, and we are working with the estate of Whitney Houston very, very closely to establish the right look and feel.
He acknowledges hologram tours aren't for everyone, but a lot of people we met after the Roy Orbison and Buddy Holly show were fans.
I actually found myself clapping, but I'm thinking, why am I clapping for someone that's a hologram?
A little bit disconcerting, surreal.
I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. Anyhow, I got to get back because I think the show's starting again. Thank you so much.
And even though some fans find it unsettling, this mix of novelty and nostalgia is not going away anytime soon, with artists from ABBA to Glenn Gould slated to return as holograms to a stage near you. Deanna Sumanak-Johnson, CBC News, Toronto.
Okay, our moment is next after the break. He's a Giller Prize winner now, but what about back then? Seems Ian Williams' tribute to his old teacher is leading to a reunion of sorts. First-time novelist Ian Williams, it would seem, has a lot of people to thank. On Monday, he won the Giller Prize, and one person he paid a heartfelt tribute to was Margaret Atwood, author of the first book he ever bought with his own money. But he also spared a thought for others who've helped him along the way. And so, in tonight's moment, we want to share another touching exchange between Williams and his old middle school teacher, who created a Twitter account just to say congrats.
Ian Williams for his novel, Reproduction.
I had good public school teachers like Mr. Lusick and Mrs. Colton who pushed poetry on us, and this was my way, right? So
I didn't expect to hear from him that night or have my name mentioned. I saw his tears. At the same time, there were the same thing on my face. Seeing that Ian was going to be on Twitter, that's when I decided to create the Twitter account. He's repaid me so many ways already. I mean, it's unbelievable. That was the icing on the cake when he mentioned me.
One thing I'm hoping is that people actually sort of look back to their own teachers and think through their lives and say, whatever happened to that 7th grade geography teacher, or that shop teacher in grade 11?
As long as he's paying for the coffee, I'm meeting up with him.
Yeah, you'll be able to afford that coffee. So hey, if you have a teacher from your past that you would love to give a shout out to, we'd love to hear from you. You can head to our Instagram page, that's at CBC The National. Laurie Hamilton and Jason Sinkus, my old music teachers. This one's for you. That's The National for this November 22nd. Good night.